I'm Mark, CEO and co-founder of Primal, and over the past 9 years, I've made a ton of terrible decisions, but also really, really amazing decisions, growing my agency business to $14 million per year. So today I want to walk you through my 4 frameworks that I think through when I make decisions. And really, it's all about making quality decisions at speed. And these are things that I think about when I make decisions. So the first concept is risk by time. Many decisions carry an inherent amount of risk. It can be small, it can be big, but typically if the risk is high, like making a $10 million decision, you require a lot of time to evaluate the decision around those things. Whereas another decision like, what am I going to have for lunch today, doesn't require much time at all because there is zero risk. So when you're thinking about making quality decisions, think about how much risk is associated with that decision and then how much time you need to spend evaluating different options. The second concept is that fast is typically better or best. The reason why this is because if over a year, let's say I make 20 big decisions, but I get 7 right, versus I only make 3 big decisions per year and I get 3 right, over the course of that time period, I eventually have more right decisions because I made more decisions. And in order to make more decisions, you have to make fast decisions. Some might argue, oh, if you make fast decisions continuously, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. That's true. But typically you want to maintain momentum. So if you make a decision and it's wrong, you can quickly correct that depending on how much risk is associated with that particular decision. So it's really important to maintain momentum. I mean, how often do we get frustrated by people who can't make a decision, right? They're slow, it takes time, and it's just not good for the business and everyone working for that person. Another thing to think about is disagree and commit. So typically what slows us down when we make decisions is other people. Why? Because a lot of companies operate by decision by committee. So what that means is when they come to a decision, they need a room full of 10 people all saying yes to one thing. And people do that because they want an inclusive work environment. But it can be really a big barrier to making fast decisions. I hate decision by committee. I really believe that there should be a small group of people just making decisions. And the culture of the company should be that even if there is disagreement, there is commitment, right? Because at the end of the day, you're a team. Whatever decisions are being made, you all need to be supporting it and behind it. And if you're continuously disagreeing and not committing, you're essentially an anchor to the business. We don't want anchors in the business. You don't want to be an anchor and maybe you're in the wrong business. So, consider those things. We have a culture of disagree and commit. We maintain momentum because we make many decisions. And the risk is enough so that even though we're wrong, the business is still moving forward. We're getting the right decisions right at a scale that moves the business forward, essentially. If you get stuck by having a committee to make decisions, what I would invite you to do is establish some kind of rule where you only need a certain percentage of people to say yes to a particular decision and then just make that decision and then correct it if there's a mistake made later on in time. And I think this is why companies are very successful, right? We have Facebook's saying, move fast and break things, because they realize that the more people break things and test things and experiment, even though it's wrong, they learn and then they move fast.
Hey, I just wanted to take a moment to pause the video and let you know that I'm relatively early in my YouTube journey, and I would really appreciate it that if you like the content, please give it a like and subscribe. All right, that's it. Back to the video.
So the next part is, or the third concept is 10-10-10. So when you make a decision, the best thing you can do is to take a pause and reflect, even if it's just for a minute. And what this helps to do is really look at decisions over different time frames and then check to see if you're going to regret that decision or not. When we say 10-10-10, it's how will I think and feel after 10 minutes of making this decision? How will I feel in 10 months? And how will I feel in 10 years? By thinking across different time frames, we can remove impulse. Because typically when I've really made my worst decisions, it's because I made it impulsively after emotionally reacting to a situation. So we want to remove impulse by thinking this way. We can improve clarity because we're looking at different angles. And then we can assess impact from shorter to longer time periods. And essentially, this just makes you more wise. So this is typically about your emotions after making a decision. Am I going to feel okay in 10 minutes for making this decision? 10 months is more medium term. Am I going to regret this? How am I going to think and feel in 10 months? Because this is more about like life impactful decisions. Is this going to affect me in 10 years? And that's just assessing your impact in your life, and you can start to see the gravity of that decision. The next concept is the 37% rule. So this comes from optimal stopping theory. And basically, this is important when you need to make decisions within a limited time frame and you have finite options. We see this being used in many business cases where I need to pick between different options and I need to select the best one and I need to do it. Happens all the time. And basically, what this says is that after you've evaluated the first 37%, or for simplicity, we can just say 40%, so that's 4 out of 10, we can start to see how this applies to many business use cases. If, let's say, I'm interviewing for a particular role, and I say, okay, well, if I have 10 options of candidates, if I look at the first 4 out of 10, so 40%, I can start to establish some kind of baseline, right? So I interview person 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 40%. So 37% rule. We've hit that. I start to establish what the baseline is. And then all subsequent options after that, if those options are better, you would then pick that particular option. So it's really just about establishing what the baseline is. And then the next best option after number 4, pick and decide. So you may not even get to the last 3 because you might decide that person number 6 is the best person because they beat the benchmark from the first 4 people. And then you save yourself time from evaluating the remaining 3, right? And we can see this also if you need to make a business investment decision and you need to pick some kind of software. You would evaluate 4 different software, and the next best one that beats the benchmark, you would then pick and choose. And wherever that may lie after number 4, you would then pick and choose the best one. So when I think about decision making, these are the 4 things that I try to cover in my head when I come to making a decision. And it's enabled me to stop being so impulsive, think about what's best for the company, and therefore make better, higher quality decisions over time. So I hope that helps for you today. Thank you.